I think we're in a position today where you don't just look at what you read. You have to look for what you don't see. You have to look for what's missing.
What's missing in Hong Kong's media is an open, objective account of their politics or government. Since the handover of Hong Kong from British to Chinese rule in 1997, journalists like Francis Moerty say the press has gone from a watchdog of the government to its lapdog.
If you're facing some critical issues or sensitive issues, Beijing don't want you talking about, so the owners can order the news department to stop talking about or covering on that.
Rose Lequi Lue is a broadcast journalist for Phoenix Satellite Television in Hong Kong, with a primarily mainland Chinese audience. She says that the media owners are typically entrepreneurs with a lot of other business in mainland China. They have an economic incentive to stay on good terms with the Beijing government.
It's not the journalism, I say it's propaganda.
If a journalist wants an audience to find their stories, they must go through layers and layers of censorship.
We never interview the experts who support the movement. We only interview the person who against the movement.
The Umbrella Movement was initiated by students to demand full democracy in Hong Kong, including the right to nominate and elect their head of government, known as the chief executive.
Hong Kong deserve democracy, and if we are denied of that, it is very natural for us to come out to fight.
When Communist Party leaders in China took control over Hong Kong in 1997, they promised to run on a one-country, two-systems principle so that Hong Kong could retain its current economic and political structure.
Chairman, before, we promised 50 years no change, but now, only 17 years, everything is changed.
China fears Hong Kong, its most international city, could elect a leader that not only opposes the Communist Party, but incites a democratic change.
Very clearly, the Chinese Communist Party say that you are not allowed to have free election because you are a national security threat.
One way to control that threat is through the distribution of information. If China leaders do not like a story, they will pressure media owners not to use it.
You have to listen to them. If they stop your transmission, that means you have no income.
In Hong Kong, journalists still believe watchdog function, freedom press, fourth estate, all these classical values. But in the reality, it's quite complicated.
For me, my strategy is I say nothing. During the umbrella movement, I never criticized the movement, but I never talk about the movement.
That self-censorship becomes apparent when comparing different publications. Some of Hong Kong's less regulated publications, like South China Morning Post and Apple Daily, have special sections devoted to coverage of the Occupy movement. However, Phoenix News has not mentioned the movement in the past 6 months.
So it's very difficult for a sensitive story to be aired. And on the other side is the self-censorship. We know if we do that, we lost our job.
Journalists must self-censor their stories before they are further reviewed by a number of editors. The last foreign frontline reporter in Hong Kong, Francis Moerty, says he has a slightly different experience with the censorship.
If there were pressure, my editors insulated it from me, but I never got that pressure. But ultimately, an axe fell.
He began working with Radio Television Hong Kong in 1995 as the lead reporter covering the handover, and continued covering all major constitutional issues and legal matters until April 2014.
I didn't get my contract renewed, and I think that the non-renewal must have had a political element.
In January, the government blocked access to most virtual private networks, or VPNs, on the mainland, making it nearly impossible to log on to internet sites outside of China. The government is providing people with information that only they select, and Hong Kong fears this could be their future too.